So $499 for a full-frame 85mm f1.4 lens is a steal. And you can get it for Sony, Nikon, or Fuji. But is it any good for that price? Let's find out. Just as I was about to head out today, with a Sirui 85mm f1.4, it started snowing. But I went out and got a whole load of shots for you guys, just so you can see what this looks like in real life situations. And it's pretty damn amazing. But for now, we're gonna go back inside. So this is the brand new Sirui Aurora full frame 85mm 1.4 lens. That's right, it's not a 1.8, it's a 1.4 for $499. That is an early bird special because it goes to $599 a little bit later. Now, we're going to go through all the techno mumbo jumbo because that's the boring stuff you can read, but let me quickly go through it. This is a full aluminium body. We have 14 elements in 9 groups. We have 15 aperture blades in here, so the bokeh is very, very round. It really looks very lovely. It goes from f16 to 1.4, so it is an f1.4 lens all the way down to f16, and you can declick the aperture, and if you put it on auto, you can control it on your camera. We also have an AFL L here, AFL L, so automatic focus lock switch. If you press it, it locks the focus. We have an AF MF switch, so if you want to go from manual focus to automatic focus, really easy. Focus speed on the Sony ZV-1 is fairly fast. It's very precise, and as you can see, it's doing a very good job at getting focus on every single focus point. So I don't see any problems there. As for focus speed, compared to the Sony 85mm f1.8, which is a slightly faster lens, and it is at f1.8, it is fairly comparable. You can see it's a little bit slower, but it's nothing that kind of, really jumps out at you. When I'm walking towards the camera, they're about the same, and the Sony actually does lose focus of my eye at the very end here. And on the back, we do have USB-C for firmware upgrades. It has all the connections for Sony, Fuji, and Nikon, so you have all that. Up front, we have 67mm filters. Sirui sent me their nano slim one. It's really nice, and they also sent me a mist filter, which I used on all the low light shots. Apart from that, it is weather sealed, it weighs 540 grams, and it has a minimal focus distance of 85 centimeters. That's pretty normal. So here is Boris, the Lego man. He should give you a good idea of how close you can actually focus in. You get a lens hood, lens cap, rear lens cap, front lens cap. So you have the whole deal for $499. It really is quite a fantastic lens. But now we're going to get into tests. So you've seen my footage of it starting to snow outside. Let's have a look at a bit of low light footage and low light photos for you guys to see with the mist filter attached. So all these shots are with the quarter mist that Sirui kindly sent me. I am a massive, huge mist filter fan. In fact, I do collect them. I will be dropping a video on mist filters very soon, comparing every single mist filter you can possibly pick up in the world. But here, looking at these shots, they're really cool, and I think an 85mm lens for street photography is a fun lens, and you can see by the bokeh balls, it does a really nice job. I do like what their mist filter is doing, and I love how sharp this lens is and how well it isolates the subject from the whole frame. So all in all, a really nice low light lens at f1.4, and these were all shot at f1.4. So that doesn't look bad, huh? It looks like a very nice lens. How does it look on portrait? So it's basically me. I did take a couple of shots of my kids, not many, but it's basically going to be on my face. So let's have a look at that. So this is my face. I have a cool LED to the left and a warm LED to the right, and this is how a portrait looks. These are very sharp. They have eye autofocus. Here we have an LED above me. Here we have the same LED to the left hand side.
and a slightly warmer one off to about 1 meter. Here I'm flashing the lens with the LED stick, so I'm basically aiming it at the lens and you get this kind of milky feeling. And here I have the LED stick on the flame candle mode and a Zippo lighter to give it a cool look. All in all, really nice, sharp portraits.
I don't look too bad, right? I think the lighter, the Zippo lighter, I bought that in Los Angeles like about 15 years ago, looks pretty nice.
So as for daytime shots outside, as you can see, it is very nice, and the isolation of the subject is really pretty. Look at this. I mean, it's got a really nice, interesting bokeh, and it is incredibly sharp. I think that this is definitely a lens that I'm going to be using a lot, considering it's my only f1.4 lens, and just the way that it creates a really nice thin sliver of focus is absolutely stunning. As for photos, it's very quick. It captures focus more or less instantly, so there is no lag, and it's really nice for just basically walking around, getting some shots of the city. I would normally use a 35mm, sometimes maybe a 24, but using an 85mm to walk around the city and grab shots is really unique, especially with that subject isolation. So if you're looking for an 85mm lens, not only for portraits, but for, say, city shots, street photography, this is definitely a nice one, thanks to the f1.4 aperture.
Now, flaring. Let's have a look at flaring.
Flaring on this lens is pretty controlled, and it looks really classic for an 85mm.
So the flaring looks pretty classic. It looks well controlled. Let's have a look at the balls, because we love looking at the balls. And these ones are actually pretty damn nice.
Right, the balls. The balls, as you can see, they are very round in the middle. And if we look at slightly smaller balls, you can see that off to the side, they do get a little bit cat-eyed. But in the middle, they keep pretty much round.
So Sirui has nice balls. Go figure. Chromatic aberration. Is there anything going on in here?
If we zoom in here, we can see a little bit of purple and green, which is really easy to get rid of, so that's not a problem in my book.
Not too bad, right? So if you're filming, you're gonna want to know if it has a lot of focus breathing. Let's check that out.
The breathing on this lens isn't actually too bad, especially for an 85mm.
Right, and last but not least, distortion, vignetting, and the focus chart. Let's have a look and see how this really does on the really boring charts, which have nothing to do with real life photos.
This is where you're going to see a lot of pincushion distortion, but when it comes to sharpness, full open, dropping down to 2.8, it's basically sharp all over. A little bit softer f1.4, but nothing really bad. And if we drop it down to 5.6, f8, and all the way down to 16, it starts to get a little bit soft at f16. But if we look at the chart, you can really see that at f1.4 we do have some vignetting, which is really easy to get rid of, and that pincushion really does come out here, but not in actual photos.
Now you can see we're getting a little bit of a pincushion going on. It looks a little bit like an anamorphic kind of shot, right? But it isn't. It does have pincushion, but I don't notice that in any of my shots. In fact, I think it makes me look a little bit thinner, you know, because it's pincushions, you know, it doesn't, I don't know. It looks good. Anyway, I don't really care much about the charts, but for the people that wanted to see them, that's what it looks like. All in all, a really fantastic lens, and an f1.4 portrait lens for $499. Wow, Sirui, you did a great job. And I like that we can firmware update it. That's fantastic. Anyway, any questions, comments, all down below. Affiliate links right down there. And if you do like my video, give me a like, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one.